Hi there, another quick and easy little Christmas card scene, playing with wax and salt and just very effective to do. Let's get going. Okay, we're going to do another fun picture again now. This is just some Christmas baubles really. The easy way to draw a few baubles to start with is just to put a mug on or a glass or something, draw around it. So we want to just, I'm only going to do 3, but you can do, keep always with your composition, keep an odd number in there. So I'm just going to do 1 here, perhaps another one a little bit higher up. So we've got 3 of them, but 5 would be quite good as well to do. So it just depends on your size of your piece of paper, the size of your mug or glass or whatever it is. So now we've got the nice round shape on there. Just find somewhere about the middle and then just put the little bit on top where it's going to latch onto the little bit of string, because we can add a little bit of ribbon or string or something onto it in a little while. And that's an easy way of getting a little bauble shape there. And then you'll have a bit of string coming off from that straight down, or a little bow or something if you want to put a little bit of a bow in. Little bits of things we can add in later. Let's just have another little bow around there, and again perhaps a little dangly bit of string, something like that onto it, and these will all have little bits of ribbon or things going up the top. So that's a nice little arrangement there for that. Let's just make that a bit thicker. Get some areas to work into. Now we need to put some decoration onto these baubles. We could just do them, wet them, paint a bit of colour in, leave a little light area for a little shine to one side of it, and then just do the ribbons on top, which would be great. But I thought we'd have a little bit of fun with this by using a bit of candle wax and doing some designs onto it. So all I do is use an old tea light or something like that. Ooh. Normally I'd just pull it out of the thing with that and then cut it into, just with a pair of scissors, just cut it into quarters. There's one here I prepared earlier, which is a good job because I've just pulled the string out of the middle of that one. And all you're going to do with your candle wax acts as a resist. It stops the paint going into the area. So with this, we're just going to put a little bit of the candle wax round the edge, just to give me the shape. I might just leave that bit where the ribbons overlapping it. You have to press quite firmly to make it work, because otherwise it doesn't really work. I'll put that little bit of the top on as well, and then I can put some patterns onto this, perhaps some zigzags. That'll probably do for that one. For this one we'll do the same sort of thing, just put a little bit of candle wax around the edge to form the shape. Perhaps some little circles. You have to trust your imagination with this, because that's a line underneath, because you can't see what you're doing, which is half the fun. So we've got zigzag circles. So with this one we might just have some little curves or something. Again, I'll just do the line around the edge of it to give me my outer shape. What should we do? You'll just do some little lines going across it, little curves. Pressing firmly to give me my patterns. So now we've got those drawn in, waxed in as well, we can just go mad with some colour. So some of these, perhaps we'll just pick a few different colours. I'm going to do a nice bright red one up here. Purpley red. This is Elysian crimson, but you can use whatever colours you want to with this. Putting that down round here, and look, magic. There is a little bauble with a pattern on it, just appearing as if by magic around the edge there. We'll do another couple. We'll have, I don't know, a pale, let's use that nice Prussian blue or phthalo blue or something like that. We'll do that one in this one. A funny lump of it there. Let me just move that out of the way. So I'll make a little puddle up, and then I'll just put the colour over, just avoid that one a little way. Little baubles appearing. And so you can do lots of these. If you use an egg cup, you'll have lots of small ones. I've missed a bit of paint on that for some reason or other. There we go. And then what colour should we do? Should we have a yellow one down here? Nice bright yellow. And what pattern did I put on that? Circles. 3 little baubles, all with unique patterns onto them. So those are quite pretty on their own. You could just put some little ribbons on, perhaps a little bit of grey for the tops there. In fact, I'll put a little bit of purpley grey or something, ultramarine blue and a touch of burnt umber. I've already got some up here. I'll just do that for this little silver top. And again, I've put a little bit of wax on that so it leaves a bit of light onto it. So it gives its little tops there. We want to add a little bit of ribbon or something, but we'll just pause for that for the moment because I want to think about a background to this as well. So I'm going to make up some strong colour for the background. I think I'm going to make a greeny colour with a Prussian blue or phthalo blue and a touch of burnt sienna. This will give me a very bright, very strong greeny colour. And on this occasion I'm going to put a pinch of salt into that background just to add a little bit of fun to it as well. So I'm just making a nice big puddle of that colour. This goes nice and bright and strong. I'll probably test that a little bit somewhere first just to see what the colour looks like. But I think that will probably do it. And this time I'm going to take some clean water and a mop brush. And I'm just going to go around, carefully around the edge of this, avoiding the baubles themselves now because they need to just dry a little bit. And then take that water off the paper because I'm not going to paint that far, but I just want to put a little bit of colour into that background, just avoiding the baubles themselves. The wax should stop the paint running into it because it should keep it, but it doesn't really matter if it does run in a little bit there. So around there, just check, make sure you keep that nice and neatly covered all around the outside edge. And once I've got that there, I'm just going to tilt the board a little bit so it'll help it to stop it sitting in the middle. Just put a bit more water around these edges. And when I put the water on, I move my head around so I can see where it's wet and where it's dry. So I can just see little dry patches. And then once I've got all that covered, we're going to just put the colouring into the middle here. So again, with this colour, it doesn't matter if it catches these and runs a bit. I think it makes it look a bit more arty if you can do that. Just putting this colour into the background, around the edge of the board, baubles, just to make them in situation as if you could almost do it like the Christmas tree colours, if they're hanging on a Christmas tree somewhere. Bringing that away, a bit in the middle. And because it's wet, it means it'll blur away on the edges here. And what we want to do with that in a moment is we're going to put a pinch of salt into this to, again, just to add some effects to it. And then we're going to have to let it dry for a few moments. Put that around the top here. And again, just a bit more paint around here. Because it's wet, it'll just blur away into the background, so I'll just wiggle the brush to make sure it does blur away into the background here. Just take the paint off that edge. Just encourage it to run away. Tidy it up before I finish. And then what we're going to do with that is just add 20 grains of salt. Just a bit more, make it even. And put the brush down. I'm just going to get this is just fine grained sea salt. And I'll put a pinch of that in my hand there. And if I just sprinkle that around the outside edges, each one of those grains will absorb a little bit of paint and give you little snow crystals. So again, it's just adding effects to it. So it is only 20 grains. You don't put a great big lump on there, or if you sit there, look at it, think it's not doing anything and put another lump on, you'll probably find it goes horribly wrong. So we'll just do that. I'm just putting that salt back in there because it saves tipping it on the floor. Right, we'll have to pause for a minute, let the salt do its own thing, and then we'll come back and just put the bows on. Okay, so there we are, that's nice and dry now. So you do have to let it dry. You just brush the salt off. And sometimes the salt works better than others. It just gives you a different effect. It should look like little snowflakes in the background there. And all we're going to do is just lift out a little bit of this, just wet it, rub it slightly. And I'm just going to put a hint of these little strings on. You can put bows on, or you can put, I might just put one bow on, but the rest I will just leave as little bits of string, I think, just to put a little bit of that. And again, just wet it, dab it, just to lift a little bit of that colour out. Rub it slightly, so that then the next colour that you put in will be able to go over the top. Just get a slightly smaller brush, because that's going to leave too big a line out of that. Some colours will lift out better than others. And then these, I'll just put a little bit of string just disappearing off, because they're off the picture. I had originally going to put a little bow there, but we'll just have a little bit of nice bright red or something like that onto it. Onto that. A little bit of a loop. And a wobbly bit coming down from the joint there. And again, it's just adding a little bit of colour to your picture. And I'll just do a half a loop behind here. See if one's disappearing behind the other, and a bit of thing up the top. And that's it, really. I'm just going to leave it at that.